All right, as always, here's the risk disclosure. Trading futures is risky. Know what you're doing before you do it, and you can lose all your money. Also, this live stream is not financial advice. It is for educational purposes only, and the live stream is not intended to copy my trades. Good morning, everybody. I apologize, running a little bit late this morning, but don't look like I missed too much, to be honest. Have a nice little run down starting now, looks like. Well, it looks like it ran down, but got a little crazy there a little bit, looks like. Morning, Dan, Chris, Brandy, Jim. I want to, everybody. Good morning, Vegas, Jean, everybody. How y'all doing? All right, let me make sure you double check my copier and everything real quick. Literally just, I always have my charts running a good couple hours. Hey, Ron. Nice to see you there. Yeah, I usually have my charts running a couple hours before, but I don't set up my trade copier and everything because I just get nervous if I'm away for a couple hours and everything is set to go and one little thing triggers and everything happens. So, yeah, good to have you, Ron. Nice to see you. We got some news coming up, 8:30. All right. We do have this simplicity short going, but I want to be careful as we get close to the news here. It's hitting this -1 deviation. Double check my fluxes and all that good stuff. And we did just recently break out of a 50-tick chop, so the 50-tick chart there, you can see we had quite a few bars of chop, and it just broke out to this -1 deviation here. Might pull back. Let's see. Let me see. Where's my 30? We have a couple clusters here, but we're about just right at the dark zone here. If this pulls back, I'm just going to go ahead and wait till after the news because it's a lot of high impact news, and I'd hate to get in a trade right now. Yeah, now we have double clusters on the 10. ODD off the deviation on the 10. It just dropped a mini magnet with these double clusters to push off and possibly go long, but it's only on the 10 tick, so I'm staying away from this. I'm just going to wait till after the news here. because it could spike at any minute when it's this close. Yeah. Now we have a 30 tick cluster on the current bar, and y'all know my rule that I do not take a trade if I have an entry with a 30 tick cluster on the current setup bar right here. And then the cluster right on this dynamic magnet, which is fine, but this cluster on the current bar. So I'm just going to wait for the news. Yeah, I'm glad to see you, Ron. That is awesome. That is awesome. I know. I can't wait until I could trade after the open so I can be back with everybody normally. I gotta open the elite room. I forgot to do that. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, Brandy, coffee time. Simp long at 729. 10 tick had a bunch of clusters that appeared. After this signal, set a clue that simp might fail. Let me see, doctor. Let's check it out. 729. All right. Let me get the simplicity chart up here. 729. Is that Eastern time? 729. Simple long signal. Okay, so it looks like it'd be right here. You're looking at this, I guess, setup bar. Excuse me. This setup bar broke the high here. Is that what you're looking at? So it looks like, let me scroll back on the 10 tick also. Yeah, so I think I see what you're trying to look at here, where it's kind of, you have this level of a dynamic magnet, mini magnet, kind of bumped up against it a couple times, and if it gives you an entry long to break out, kind of a breakout it looks like, based on the 10. Let's see here. Yeah, if you hopped in this here, yeah, so we have triple clusters actually. So we have the double clusters after you were in, and then we have the cluster here against the wall. I mean, it can be. So when you have double clusters like this at a level, then it could definitely be a reversal point. So, for example, that's what I was talking about yesterday. I need to make that cluster video. I'm going to do that for sure before the weekend is over and have it up. Video explaining clusters very well, because like in this situation here, you have double clusters, which we know that's a fight, right? That's a fight between the buyers and sellers. And then it had a little bit of chop, but since it came down, so I look at double clusters a little bit differently, because I kind of look at after the fact. So because this bar closed down and it started coming down, that tells me, the sellers were in charge here. So it could be a signal that it is going to reverse, because clusters could be a reversal point. It could be like a wall, or it could be a breakout point. Yeah, and I was going to note that as well. Oh, I'm sorry. Here. Yeah, here's the clusters I was talking about. Looks like news just came out. Here's the clusters I was talking about. So you would have had your entry probably right here, and then it kind of pulled back down and gave the double clusters, these red absorption X's. So yeah, this is kind of a signal. Plus, because it barely broke it here, and then you got in, and then it kind of did all this mess here and reversed. So the sellers were in charge there. So yeah. But what I was going to point out too, like somebody mentioned, Jimmy mentioned here, I don't really like this entry anyways, because simplicity to the left just looks messy. I like it more of kind of like Daryl explains, a waterfall, if that makes sense. Like even just here, this early entry, it's clearly kind of coming down here. Like here, it's kind of choppy before, and it's not really very, and it just went green. So like right here, you have the early entry short, but it's coming down. You can see it coming down a good ways. I still don't love that, but see, like here, you have this roundabout waterfall, inverse waterfall coming up. So here was just kind of choppy for me. This at this point is where I would wait and not take the simplicity and see if it runs, and then wait for an LRE. So now let's see what's going on. Yeah. Yeah, and didn't make too much of a ruckus here on that news. I mean, we did have that jolt, but yeah, if it gets the market moving, that's all I want. Check out the 50 tick here. We're on the fourth bar of chop. So I'm going to wait for a breakout bar. While we're waiting here for a second, I don't know if y'all remember a couple weeks ago, I've said quite a few times, once I cross 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, I'm going to do something for everybody. So I'm going to put out a video tonight. I'm going to do a giveaway of 3 evaluations for free. 3 free evaluations. It's no purchase or anything necessary to enter. You just got to be subscribed to the channel. But tonight I'll put out a video with what you exactly need to do. And then 1 week from tonight is when I'll have the drawing. So 3 evaluations just for, my little community here. All you guys that support the stream and everything. I appreciate it. Joining me on my trading journey. It'll be somewhere around, I'd say around 9 p.m. Eastern time, somewhere around there. But I mean, like I said, it's nothing that you need to, be first to do or anything like that. It's literally going to be a video explaining what to do. You just have to be subscribed to the channel and then comment on the video and you get your entry. So yeah, it'll be 3 of them. So you guys here on the stream are the first to hear about that. Everybody else will hear about it with the video tonight. Vegas, yeah. So I would pull over my trade copier and show you, but I just don't want to expose all my accounts. I'm just funny like that. So, but on the trade copier, if you look, under the account where it says method, ratio, all that on the left, if the empty space right below method, that last box, just right click it, and then it'll pop up a little box asking if you want to click always on top or cross order. You'll just click cross order. And when you do that, it'll add another column all the way on the end of your trade copier that says cross order. And then whatever account you want to switch, want to go to micros, you just click that little box and it'll light up and you'll see it change to MNQ on the right. Let me know if you got that or need me to go over any of it again. Yeah, you can do. Yeah, you can do a sim only if you're crossing over to micros. So yeah, don't have a leader as sim if you're going to minis. But yeah, for this only, you can do leader sim and then cross your accounts to micros. Yeah. All right, let's see if we get this break short here. 50 tick chart threatening to give us a break short, but I'm not sure. We'll see. Not getting much of a read on anything else right this second. All right, we have our breakout bar. Let's see if we can go. So we are at the low of the day. Yeah, that's right, Vegas. That's exactly right. All right, now I do want to wait until this makes a decent little run down before I hop into a pullback. Because right now, if it pulls back, we're looking at being around the deviation level, which I'd prefer not to have that. But yeah, I'd kind of want this to go down further, which it looks like it will. We just dropped this ZOI on this wall. That's a 30 tick ZOI that it laid on this wall on the 10 tick. And there was a mini magnet to the left as well, you could see. So it might pull back. Might not get an LRE there. I would like an LRE there, but correct, doctor. That would be the setup bar, and then the entry would be the next bar that broke that low. I don't like that this broke right back through that ZOI. It didn't get quite up there to that wall. Let's see what happens here. It's got a lot of HD on it. I just don't like that it broke back through this ZOI and mini magnet spiked up. It's getting a little chop on the 30 tick here. I'm kind of waiting to see if this will go short anymore, or if that wants to be the bottom. See, there's our 30 tick chopping down there. See how simplicity is going sideways? Right here, you hit this bottom, this wall, and it's just kind of going sideways. So even if it pulls up here, I'm not going to take that LRE. I want an LRE to be down here further. This one could have been, it got pretty close, but I just didn't like that this level here, it just kind of spiked right through. Yeah, I don't like it that close to the dev. Lots of clusters on its way back up. Ronin, yeah, I've never messed with 6E or 6B. I mean, you could technically trade this strategy on any futures market, but I've never traded those. Yeah, I typically don't take an LRE around a dev because it's likely to chop around devs. But if it gives me something really nice, then I will. But I need something really, really nice to take off of a dev. See, now it formed a chop on the 50 tick that we got to wait for. Right here, we're on the fourth bar. So then this down here, this paw is a paw mini magnet on the 30 tick. So I'd want it to break below that. Give us short below that. And then I'll look for a pullback somewhere in there. That guy right there. Yeah, see this little run right here. This area right here was just a little bit of a delayed reaction of news. Of course, we know this was news. Then we had this little drop here, and that was kind of a little bit of a delayed because we had this big bar, and now it's chopping again. So we'll wait and see how it goes. Now we have this mini magnet. Possibly, if this mini magnet lays here on this around the ZOI and this bar closes short below this, that'll probably trigger our short to go down. If that happens, it looks like it might be going away. But if this mini magnet could stay here and this bar close at 657.50, that could spark our run to go down. It looks like it's having a tough time there. I'm not in a trade right now, Ronan. Waiting to spot an entry. That's awesome, Vegas. Yeah, that's, oh my gosh, that's the beauty of the trade copier and all those accounts. Small, I guess relatively small trades can add up to so much. It's just beautiful. Yeah, when you break it down backwards like that and multiply, that's why I love the copier in these accounts. You're literally multiplying. You're not even trying to like increase income or profits or double. You're multiplying. That's amazing. That's awesome, Vegas. You can do it for sure. All right, it didn't leave the mini magnet, but might be trying to get a little break short here. We'll see. There we go. All right, we technically have a simplicity short now after that reset. I'll keep a bag packed, Richard. This thing's giving some fake outs. I didn't know he lives in California. Yes, 20 accounts, 20 funded accounts. So now I laid another mini magnet on the 30. Right there with some ODD, but it was kind of out of chop, so I wouldn't really consider that a good ODD to base anything off of, but it did leave that mini magnet, so we'll see if the market wants to, what it wants to do here. I do want it to clean up its act a little bit. I need to get me a trade. Ronan, I'm not sure. I really don't know any, I guess, Forex futures traders. are currency futures traders. Most of the ones I know either trade, these indices or bonds. Yeah, he does bonds like the ultra bonds and all that. Canadian futures trader. Ultra bonds, 10-year bonds. Those things go slow, slow, slow. But you only need a couple ticks out of those. I tried those. When I say I've tried everything, I've tried everything. Yeah, it's way too slow for me. Yeah, Apex is an entire toolkit that they coded everything, specifically to their proprietary system. So when we have it, when we are with Apex, we literally install an entire toolkit and has all their own templates and everything. I know this is ugly, man. Double clusters on the 30 here. So if you look where we had that mini magnet Paul here, same level laid a cluster, coming back up laid a cluster. So this little area right there, around 11,660, it's kind of a bit of a battle to get through. And now we're heading up, so see where it wants to go. Yeah. A lot of fluxes and all that good stuff. Ooh, sorry to hear that, doctor. Yeah, when price action gets like this, it does get tough to sit through sometimes, but that's also why not only because my schedule right now, I have to have a time limit, but that's also why I have a time limit. Even when my schedule allows me to trade the entire day, I still only want to give myself around an hour and a half to trade because, I typically, when I'm sitting there longer than that, don't make the wisest decisions. So if I can't get my trades done in that time frame, then, there's always tomorrow. Usually. We have a nice amount of volume today. Still a little bit of volume on the old contracts, but definitely majority is all rolled over now. Yeah, Brandy, that's the problem whenever the market doesn't look great and we're sitting here, get kind of bored, then something usually will pop up like a shiny little bit of a trade, but it's not really great. But because we're sitting there, it's like, ooh, this might be something. We hop in, and then after the fact, it's like, oh, I shouldn't have taken that trade. Dang it. I know I've done that so many times. You know, Dan, there a lot of times afternoon like that, there are some pretty clean simplicity runs many times with LREs in it. Yep. Boredom leads to blowing up. That's why I try to focus on continually, like even when I'm sitting here bored, like there's nothing. I try to play the anticipation game a lot. Try to look forward based on what I'm reading. That way I'm not just, don't zone out into thinking about other things and I think also that's why I limit my trading time, because I feel like I can do that for a good hour, hour and a half. And then after that, I tend to, pick up my phone or look around or whatever, start checking out. So, or I mean, you could get up and walk away for a good 5-10 minutes and try to do a little mental reset. Morning. Yeah, all that came out at 8:30. It didn't really do too much. We had a little bit of a drop and then kind of some ugliness. Looks like it's trying to kind of climb its way up, but right at the deviation level now. This is what I was talking about yesterday too. When the simplicity lines get really tight, I like it for taking a simplicity trade, but not so much an LRE, because there's not a lot of. That means there's not a lot of movement, and an LRE pullback basically might not even be a bar, a reversal bar. All right. Glad you could join, Brandy. Have a great day. All right. We're trying to make a move. We are trying to make a move long here. We just passed the deviation. If we can keep going, I like this up here. We have this area where there's a wall, dynamic magnet, this 36 ZOI, this area up here. If I could take an LRE somewhere above this dev level, then I'd love to take it up to that as a target. I just don't want it to pull back below the deviation and give me an entry, because then I have to go back through the deviation again, and it could just get choppy. Mark, let's see. I haven't even really thought about it. I mean, I'm sure I'll be on just to take caution that last week of the year. Yeah, I'm sure I'll be on every day that week. Not going out of town or anything, so. Ten tick getting a little choppy. Come on, keep going up. So if you look left, where we just hit at that dynamic magnet was previous resistance for a little bit on the 30 tick. See, we just hit that. If you look left, hit that dynamic magnet there. Kind of was a bottom right here. Just a couple points, a couple areas, but we'll see. Hopefully it can keep going up. If it could break above this dynamic magnet and give me an entry somewhere above this deviation, we got to look to the all the way to the left as well. On the 30 tick, we had 3 clusters around 11,690-ish. Well, pretty much just where we are. Okay, now it's just going to fly through. Okay, an LRE now would be at this wall. So if it does pull back to this dynamic magnet, I'll still consider an LRE here, depending on what the order prints look like. Yeah, here we go. Let's see if we get a pullback before it tries to. I don't know if it's going to break through or not, but let's see if we get a pullback first. Because if we get a pullback and I do get in an LRE, my hope would be that it does come back up to this level, this area that I like, to retest to see if it'll break through. And hopefully it's not just a rejection point. But it could be. But I'm willing to take the risk on that. LRE is a low-risk entry for what we call a simplicity trade. Simplicity is a trending trade, and then the low-risk entry is a pullback of that trend. So we look for a pullback, and it's a low-risk entry. But it is trying to break through. An LRE would be around 690. Now I'm not going to take an LRE because it's too tight. I need this to continue long first. Because see, an LRE would be right here. And it's choppy on the 10. It's too tight of an area now. See, look at this choppiness and clusters right here on the 10. If I took this LRE, I don't trust it to. It never fully broke this level. So, I mean, I would only be giving myself, what? A few points to hopefully grab. I don't like that. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to wait a little longer and see. Let's see if I would have got stopped out already. I would have been in at about 694. Yeah. Yeah, I would have got, yeah, it's coming down. So it got too tight there. You see, that's why I didn't take that. It didn't fully break. The LRE was just like right here, which didn't have a lot of space, and it never fully broke that. So I wouldn't feel confident that it would just come back up and break through. And then we had the clusters right there to the left, so yeah, you're right. ODD right there at the top too. Yeah, if it comes back up to it, it could have a nice chance of breaking through. And keep in mind, a lot of times the third hit is when it breaks through. So maybe not this second time, it might. But if it comes back a third time, that's when I would definitely be looking for it to break. And yeah, the dynamic magnet and wall is one of the strongest, aside from like settlement and stuff like that, is a really strong level when a dynamic magnet lays on top of one of these walls, lorry walls. Well, Ronan, the Apex system, Apex has their boot camp that explains all of the basics of the charts and everything. So yeah, if you haven't gone through boot camp, then some of this stuff I'm sure will be like, what are you talking about? Because it seems like a lot, but once you learn the basics of everything, it's like, okay, it's not much. But yeah, just from anybody that hasn't seen the Apex or been familiarized with it much, the system, yeah, just jumping on my stream here, you can kind of be a little bit lost. I can see that. Yeah, for sure. First boot camp, yep, master boot camp, and then Thrive. Man, I agree, Dan. That changed everything for me, and that also, in my opinion, should be 100% required. Appreciate that, Dan. Oh, look here. We have and it closed. Mini magnet laying on the dynamic magnet on the 30 tick. So I like that as a potential to continue pushing this down. So we'll see if it does, but typically that's a good sign this is going to push it down. If we weren't at the deviation and everything right here, I would have taken this LRE. And the reason why is because that mini magnet that it laid on that dynamic magnet, it's just this very easily, with the deviation here, the -1 dev, and this 30 tick ZOI right here, it very easily could turn into chop. But under any other circumstances where that wasn't there, the deviation specifically, I would have loved to take this LRE when it pulled back up to that. Even though Simplicity didn't run, and I know I always say I like Simplicity to be running good, but that mini magnet that laid on that dynamic magnet on that 30 tick right there, I would have loved to take an LRE off of here. It's just, that deviation is too big of a red flag for me right there. Yeah, Dan, I almost said there's the Dan's fourth bar sling. Yeah, Ronan, the Apex, the boot camp is for Apex. It's to learn all the basics. Well, I mean, I want to say basics. It's the foundation, and then, of course, you can build on top of that. Yeah, the dynamic magnet with something else on it is very strong, especially mini magnets are one of the strongest things to push off of and come back to. So when you have a mini magnet lay on a dynamic magnet, super strong. Even a mini magnet on a wall is good. So those are a lot of the three that I look for when a mini magnet lays on top of something like a dynamic magnet, or whenever I see a wall dynamic magnet combo. See, this is pushing down. That was a clear read to me that that's probably going to happen because that mini magnet on the 30 tick on that dynamic magnet. But those, we had obstructions there that I didn't like. So, and it would have won anyways, as you can see. I would have hopped in here and it would have had a nice run down. But I got to respect obstructions because the time I go ahead and take that is the time it could lose for me. So if this pulls back to this COI, this nice little stack here, this level, I may take that short. It's right below the deviation, but let's see what it looks like here. It did pull back to it, but I'm waiting to see if we can build up a little bit of HD here. Have a couple clusters. We have some HD. I don't know if it's going to come back up there, though. Ooh, there it goes. Look at that. Man, it didn't quite get to where I needed it for an LRE. I liked that level. 76. Yeah, so we were about 4 points away from it being an LRE. Dang, I hate that. Whenever I have a nice area that I want to take it from, but it doesn't give me an LRE entry. And I just feel like something in me, if I would have taken that anyways without my LRE entry, even though I had a read that it was going to go from there, something in me tells me that it'll fail just because I didn't have my entry. Yeah, those almost setups. I always feel like, I know it's going to go, but I got to follow the rules, because the moment I don't and it loses, I'm going to sit there and beat myself up and say, why the heck did I take that? I should have just followed the rules. So, yeah, it retraced fast. It went fast. Hopefully this thing makes its way back down again. We're at 913, so we'll see. If it can continue, see, we have these 3 triple clusters here on the 30, and that's where it's getting held up at. See, it came right down here to that area, that level I called earlier, with this mini magnet Paul cluster. It didn't quite get there. It got to the top cluster here. So we'll see if it can make its way back down to this COI or not, and maybe flux. We're back at this level. Not much telling me to go down. I do like it. I'm going to take it. Because I think this is going to come down. If it doesn't chop or get ugly here, I think it's going to come down to that ZOI. Maybe not straight down to it, but I think it wants to make its way down to it. Just hope it doesn't get caught up with these clusters and this, gap level and stuff. But I like this little stack area that we're in. I'm going to tighten up just because all right, knock me out. Got about 20 ticks. That kind of sucks that I got knocked out there, but the reason why I moved my stop that quick was because it just spiked down to this gap level. Yeah, see, it's going to probably run now. Oh, well, that's okay. Let me show you. Because, see, I was in. Actually, I didn't even get a good feel. Look at that. But I was in, and it spiked down real quick to this gap level, which if you look left on the 10 tick here, right at that gap level, we have cluster. So it very well could bounce up, just like kind of it's doing right now. So I wanted to be behind this wall right here in case this thing decides to just shoot up. But I like this level. I really wish I didn't move my stop too soon, but oh well, it's all right. I got about 20 ticks on it because I'd still be in this thing. But I wanted to secure that just in case. So we have ODD here on the 10. And then when it made its way back up, this is only the second test. So, I mean, I didn't think it would break this, but with it doing this little spike to this wall and kind of hesitating here, then it could try to go for a third hit on it. So, all good. Yeah. Got a little zippy. Grabbed a little something on it. It did lay a crash, though. Look at that. I just noticed that entry. Oh, because it hadn't closed yet. That's why. This bar just closed, the 30 tick, and look, it created a crash where my entry was. Dang. If I would have noticed that crash, I would have definitely stayed in. But I didn't notice the crash. So this is definitely going to run to where my, I mean, not definitely, but I'm pretty sure it's going to run to where my target would have been. If it can get past these clusters, that little level that I was talking about, 660 area. At the same time, if I was still in this trade, well, I would be up pretty good amount. So I wouldn't be really sweating it or anything, but I don't like when it gets all this, back and forth and clusters while you're sitting in a trade. Now let's look here. We may get a close of this bar with a mini magnet on it. If that happens, that could push us down to the ZOI. But we have a cluster on our current bar right here at this same level to the left. So it's telling me this whole kind of zone area down here is a really big struggle. Right? So I wouldn't be surprised. Well, anything can happen after the open, but until the open, I wouldn't be surprised if this is our low right here. So this is a third hit up here, and I would not, we did just lay this crash, but I was just about to say I would not expect this to bounce again. It may break through, but since that crash is new, it may bounce. Either way, I'm not taking it. And that's what I was scared of happening while I was in the trade. I was afraid this would happen, and that's why I moved my stop so quick. Which you can't, hindsight 2020, right? You can't go back and say, oh, I should have just stayed in and let it come down to the bottom and then tighten up. We don't know that. But my read was what just happened could have happened back here. So that's why I moved my stop, grabbed about 20 ticks, and called it a day. Well, yeah, I guess I am going to call it a day. All right, yep, it's 9:20 now. Got that one little trade based on the market today. I am definitely happy with that because it hasn't been pretty. So I'll take it. And YM RL reset when he gets 2 points away from the solid. Yeah. Because 2 points is 2 ticks on YM. Because 1 point is 1 tick. Yeah, I know. Time flies, man. And then I got on a little late today, so that kind of... But it didn't look like I missed anything during that time. So anyways, all right, y'all. I'm going to head out of here and... yeah, I hope all y'all, thanks for joining me again. I definitely appreciate having y'all. And look out for that video this evening on the drawing. I'm going to have that drawing, 3 evaluations. It's free for the first month. So if you take more than a month, then you'll have to, pay the recurring costs. But you get 30 days free to pass an evaluation. And I'll throw that out there tonight. I'll have it posted in all the groups and everything too. So don't worry, y'all won't miss it. And on tomorrow's stream, I'll definitely put the link in there as well. So, hey, Ben. What's going on? Caught me as I'm signing off here. All right, y'all. Have a great day. Trade well as always. And I'll see y'all tomorrow.